MCCAA plays a central role in safeguarding consumers and promoting fair competition in Malta. How would you describe the authorities' mandate in a way that helps the public understand its relevance in everyday life?
Okay. If I had to put it simply, our role, our mandate is there to safeguard competition, to ensure that our markets remain open, are fair, and are ultimately competitive. At face value, it might sound a bit abstract or a bit technical, but just let me put forth an example. Think about, for example, your weekly shopping. I mean, the price that you pay, the range of the products that you buy or are available, the quality of the service that you receive. All these are determined by the competition and the extent of competition in the market. We are not there to micromanage businesses. We are there to see that to ensure that competition is there and we safeguard that competition. We only come in when we see that there is a risk, to put it simply. There is a risk to competition.
In practical terms, what does the Office for Competition do and why should business care?
Okay, our core areas are basically four, and they are set out in the law. The first one has to do with merger control. So, like in any other economic activity, you can have companies that they join forces, and we see those transactions. So there are some kind of there is a turnover threshold, and if they are notifiable to the office, we assess those concentrations to determine whether they can lead to substantial lessening of competition. So that is our forward-looking approach. This is a forward-looking approach. The second core area has to do with antitrust enforcement. So in that case, we can have a situation where you have two firms, for example, instead of competing, they are fixing the price or they are sharing market. Or you can have a dominant firm has a dominant position, and that firm, that company, or that undertaking is abusing from its position. Thirdly, we also have the remit of sector inquiries. So in that situation, we take a step back, we look at the sector, at the whole sector, or we also look at any particular market, and if we see that there are issues of competition, not necessarily an infringement, but perhaps issue of inefficiencies, for example. We study the markets and we determine whether there are, for example, structural issues, there are barriers to entry, for example, and we come up with a number of policy recommendations. And lastly, there is also the aspect of advocacy. So we also advise a number of public authorities when it comes to matters of competition, and also on top of that we are also undergoing through outreach initiatives, conducting a number of initiatives in that aspect in order to inform the public about competition law.
How does competition benefit the businesses and not just the consumers?
I think that's a very good question, because normally we tend to associate competition law with consumer protection, but it is one side of the argument. There is also the other part, which is also important. Competition law is there to safeguard businesses as well, to encourage business to invest. It gives them a guarantee, it gives them certainty, so that their investments ultimately can reap the benefits of that investment, and ultimately they can compete on the merits. As we know, competition, even if we look at the literature, has always been associated with a number of benefits. The first one, as I've said, is that every undertaking has the chance to compete, has a chance to enter the market, to expand, to grow. And in that sense, it's also associated with more beneficial economic outcomes, even from a macro point of view.
Why is competition particularly important in a small economy like Malta?
Okay, small economies, they have special characteristics. They are open to trade, so they are exposed to many external shocks as well. And when you are a small economy, normally you tend to find, of course here generally speaking, that there is a higher level of concentrations, again generally speaking, and on top of that you have also fewer players. So whenever there is a proposed transaction, for example, a concentration, two companies, they join together, or else a company is abusing from this position, the effect is likely to be much more substantial. So in that sense, competition is important to ensure that there is a level playing field between all players in order to survive and thrive. Furthermore, being a small economy, it also means that we very much depend on foreign trade. So therefore, what it implies is that we need to make sure that domestically we are competitive, so that we can ultimately compete in the international markets.
What types of business practices can lead to the office opening an investigation?
So there are various practices that can lead for us to open an investigation. One of them, as I've said, is cartels or collusive behavior. So we have two firms, instead of competing, they have an agreement to fix price, for example, or share their market or limit output. Cartels are the most harmful practices, I must say, when it comes to competition. But on top of that, there can also be instances of abuse of dominant position. Having a strong market power is not illegal by itself. And by dominant position, what I mean is you have a very, very strong market power where a firm can act independently of its competitors or its customers. But its conduct, it can lead to an investigation. Let's say, for example, that such a dominant firm, for example, it conducts predatory pricing. So it sets a price that is below its cost, with the intention to shut other firms out of the market for it. You can also have a situation of excessive pricing, a dominant firm being so powerful that it is capable to set a price excessively high, what is deemed to be a fair value for that good or service. Or else, such a dominant firm can also discriminate when it comes to pricing, when it comes to its pricing strategy. Say, for example, without any objective reason whatsoever, a company supplies a particular product at a very high price, in order, again, with the intention to have a foreclosure effect. And besides that, there could also be some vertical, again, agreements that the Office for Competition can investigate, like, for example, resale price maintenance, for example.
Looking ahead, what are the office's main priorities for the coming year? How do you see its role evolving in Malta as Malta continues to grow as a competitive economy?
Our focus is to continue investigating cases, both when it comes to the antitrust as well as merger, in a timely and efficient way possible, as well as in a transparent way. Furthermore, at the moment, we're also engaged again with the European Commission and the European peers in a program whereby we are involved in such a program in order to enhance our capabilities when it comes to data analysis and the digital markets. Again, I think it's very, very important at the moment, especially when you have such a dynamic markets as well. And thirdly, we're also engaging in outreach initiatives with stakeholders and businesses in order to, as much as possible, encourage compliance as well, in order to educate the public, in order to appreciate more and understand the basics of competition law.
Dr. Melchior Vella, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.